All right, Ravens handled the Bengals 34-20. Joe Burrow was injured. Mark Andrews got injured. Mark Andrews, I mean, that should be a big headline. That should be a big topic today because when you think of the Ravens offense, I think Lamar Jackson, and then I think Mark Andrews. He's a really good tight end. Joe Burrow with his wrist injury. Now, here's a problem that I have. There's video of Joe Burrow coming to the stadium, and he's got a brace or wrap on his right wrist. And nobody saw this before the game, but let's say you did see that before the game. Let's say you're Channel 9 in Cincinnati and you got this video, and all of a sudden, producer goes, I'll be damned. You know, Burrow's not on the injured list. On his throwing hand, playing the Ravens, I got a little inside information here. Well, this is where the lines get blurred. Now ESPN has got their own gambling site. They're bookies. Like, these things, did the Bengals tell anybody anything about Joe Burrow? The announcers always know something before the game starts. Like, they get a heads up, like last-minute injury updates. And I'm thinking about this. Like, Joe Burrow, was he hurt before he got hurt? Or was that just that injury, and then maybe, you know, he exacerbated the injury there? But he got on the sideline. He couldn't even throw the ball. And I don't know the severity of that. He'll undergo an MRI this morning, I'm sure. But somebody knew something and didn't tell anybody about this. And if I'm the NFL and you want to protect the shield, the integrity of gambling, I'm calling the Bengals, saying, help us out here, guys. Help us. Why didn't you disclose this? Yes, Pauline.
And if I'm the broadcasting team, Herbstreit especially, Herbstreit is working his tail off yesterday to try to find out at what point Joe Burrow hurt his hand. He goes, you know, maybe on that play where blank fell on him. He goes, but I'm not seeing him flinch there. He goes, maybe it's a play where he hit someone on a helmet. Herbstreit's scrambling. If he had the knowledge that he had a wrist injury before the game, he'd be like, it's a pre-existing condition. It's being exacerbated by whatever. But he's trying, the producers are trying to rack up different plays from the game and say, like, maybe this is where he hurt it. They were blindsided.
And, this may just not be the year for the Bengals. When you look at how they started and then Burrow came back, and now, depending on what this MRI shows, but the odds to win the AFC North, according to DraftKings, it's the Ravens, and then it's the Steelers, then the Browns, and the Bengals are way, way, way behind. If you're the Steelers, you got to be looking around going, all right, the Browns lost their starting quarterback. Bengals may lose their starting quarterback. We got a winning record. We might be able to sneak into the playoffs right now. Mark Andrews is hurt for the Ravens. Like, all of a sudden, people coming back down to the Steelers level there. Yes, Mark.
If you're in the AFC East, if you're the Jets or the Bills, you're like, oh, we still got a shot then. Because there was one point where we thought only one team from the AFC East was going to win or was going to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. Herm Edwards, our good buddy, former NFL college coach. He's now an analyst at the Mothership. He'll join us coming up. What other poll questions are we considering today there, Seton?
Who had a worse night last night, Dan? The Bengals or the Ravens?
Well, we don't know the severity of Joe Burrow's injury. Odell Beckham got banged up a little bit. The Ravens were without two All-Pros. Their best corner and their best offensive lineman, and still won that game. Okay, there's two ways to look at this. The Ravens' bigger picture of being a Super Bowl contender and maybe losing Mark Andrews for the rest of the season. The Bengals losing Joe Burrow and maybe not even making the playoffs. So I think, one's a bigger picture of can we get to the Super Bowl, and it makes it tougher without your number one target in Mark Andrews, whereas the Bengals are just trying to make the playoffs right now. So they both lost last night, but if you're looking at, which one's more painful, it'd probably be the Bengals because they may not even make the playoffs, certainly in that division, as tough as that is. Yeah, Paulie.
And we all saw Andrews coming out the field. You're like, well, maybe he'll miss a quarter. He's a tough dude. After the game, Harbaugh made it sound like this is really bad and likely season ending.
Yeah, when a coach is willing to say that, because normally they'll say, let's just kind of figure this out. Let's see, we do an MRI, whatever. when you get he might be out for the rest of the regular season.